The world didn't change in a single moment, but somehow it still feels like one day we woke up and everything around us had transformed. The devices we carry began to anticipate our needs. The apps we use started whispering solutions before we even recognized the problems. And the invisible networks surrounding us quietly shaped our daily choices. There's a strange kind of magic in that an ordinary day suddenly feels touched by something extraordinary. And then, almost unconsciously, we wonder, when did the future arrive? When did the familiar become so futuristic? Modern technology is often treated like a background noise, a constant hum we no longer notice. But today, for a moment, we slow down the world. We step inside that hum. We pull apart the layers and look deeper. Not as engineers or scientists, but simply as humans trying to understand the digital currents shaping our lives. Modern technology, at its core, is a mirror. It reflects the most human desires, our longing to know more, to move faster, to connect deeper, to push beyond the boundaries of our own abilities. But mirrors distort, and in that distortion we sometimes lose sight of the truth. So let's peel back the surface. Let's explore what modern technology truly is, not as a collection of tools, but as a living extension of human ambition. At the heart of it lies a simple principle: turning information into power. Every tap, every swipe, every message, every digital breadcrumb becomes data. And when billions of these tiny fragments combine, machines begin to recognize patterns that reveal needs, behaviors, and possibilities. And once machines recognize patterns, they can predict. And once they can predict, they can assist, guide, and influence. This is artificial intelligence. Not a conscious mind, not a mechanical soul, but a statistical engine, trained on mountains of data, learning from every interaction. It is not magic. It is mathematics at scale. But it feels magical because of how seamlessly it blends into our lives. Consider the smartphone in your hand. It looks like a simple rectangle of glass and metal, yet it contains more computing power than the machines used to send humans to the moon. Neil Armstrong stepped onto lunar dust, guided by computers weaker than the alarm clock app you might ignore every morning. And yet we barely notice this. That's the paradox. The more advanced technology becomes, the more invisible it grows. We only see the convenience, not the complexity. We see the results, not the millions of calculations beneath them. And in that invisibility, we forget how astonishing it all is. To understand modern technology, we must walk through its foundations. Start with connectivity. Signals traveling at nearly the speed of light, across cables thinner than a strand of hair, across satellites orbiting thousands of kilometers above us, across towers humming with invisible waves. Distance collapses. A person you haven't seen in years feels only a notification away. A question you haven't even finished forming is answered instantly. Time, once rigid, becomes fluid. We demand precision. And technology keeps reshaping itself to deliver exactly that. But speed is only half the story. The deeper transformation lies in interpretation, the ability of machines to understand. We train systems to read language, to identify faces, to map emotions, to anticipate needs before we articulate them. These systems learn continuously. They evolve, update, refine, and adapt. They are not perfect. They are not alive, but they are persistent, learning from every tap, every pause, every scroll. And because of that persistence, the digital world feels increasingly personal, uncomfortably personal at times, empowering at others. Let's ground this in something real. Imagine a rural medical clinic with limited resources. The doctor there relies heavily on instinct and experience. But sometimes, symptoms can deceive even the most skilled eye. Now imagine that doctor holding a smartphone connected to a machine learning model trained on millions of medical images. A patient arrives. The symptoms look ordinary, harmless event, but the AI recognizes something subtle, a rare condition, almost invisible, but detectable. Treatment begins early. A life is changed. Not by a massive hospital full of high-tech machines, but by a single device powered by global data. This is modern technology, at its best, not replacing humans, but amplifying them. Yet technology also reflects our flaws. We build systems to connect us, yet sometimes they isolate us. We invent tools to free us, yet sometimes they trap our attention. We create algorithms to understand us, yet sometimes they know us too well. Progress brings power, but power brings questions we often forget to ask. And that's why understanding technology matters. When we understand something, we can shape it intentionally, instead of being shaped by it blindly. The mechanics of modern technology can be reduced to three pillars: computation, data, networks. Computation gives machines the ability to calculate. Data gives them something to calculate with. Networks allow them to share information instantly. But the fourth pillar is imagination, the human capacity to dream beyond what currently exists. Every breakthrough begins with a question. What if we could? What if we could store 1,000 libraries in a handheld device? What if we could communicate without wires? What if machines could learn from experience? What if entire worlds could exist inside a simulation? Technology is born from ideas that were once impossible, and still, there are more impossible ideas waiting quietly in someone's mind, preparing to reshape the world again. Now picture a moment you've experienced countless times without noticing how much science and complexity sits behind it. You're driving at night. You open a Maps app. It shows traffic conditions in real time, predicts your arrival with astonishing accuracy, and redirects you around delays, without hesitation. Beneath that simple blue line is a symphony. Satellites measuring your position to the centimeter. Millions of devices anonymously reporting their speed. Servers updating map data every few seconds. AI models calculating optimal routes hundreds of times per minute. And all of this billions of operations just so you can get home a little faster. You don't see the complexity because modern technology is designed to hide itself behind simplicity. But as technology evolves, it doesn't just change what we do, it changes how we think. Our attention shortens. Our pace quickens. Our curiosity expands. Our expectations rise. What once amazed us now feels normal. What once felt impossible is now routine. And in this constantly shifting landscape, we must pause and ask the quiet questions we often avoid. How do we want technology to shape us? What do we want it to amplify? And what parts of our humanity must never be out? Because machines can learn patterns, but they cannot understand meaning. They can predict behavior, but they cannot experience purpose. They can simulate emotion, but they cannot feel it. The future of technology isn't about smarter screens or faster processors. It's about harmony, the delicate balance between human intuition and digital calculation. Technology can guide, but we must choose the path. Technology can automate, but we must decide what truly matters. Technology can mimic emotion, but we must protect our authenticity. Progress is inevitable, but wisdom is optional. So pause for one final moment. Reflect on how far we've come from stone tools to supercomputers, from fires in caves to networks that wrap around the planet. Think about the invisible world humming around you right now. Light pulsing through fiber optic cables beneath your feet, satellites orbiting above you, billions of devices whispering data across continents. Technology is not separate from us. It is an extension of us, our ambition, our imagination, our hope, and the future is not something that simply arrives. It is something we build, intentionally or accidentally, every single day. This is modern technology, not as machinery, not as mystery, but as a story we are all still writing.